Hello, hello, hello. What a day today, huh? I hope that everybody is connected, is live. Prada is there. Today, the greatest disaster in the world occurred. Finance talked bad about Prada. So, you never talk bad about the cat. Never. I advise you not to do that. So, I hope that everybody managed to connect. Hello, Bo. Hello, Marcel. I think that we'll give it a couple of minutes to see who else wants to connect. Can we hear each other? Can we see each other? All good? Just waiting to confirm. Good. So let's start. Let's start. Interesting day. A lot of unusual situations. Yesterday at 4 o'clock in the morning, we were still working. And we managed to uncover something quite extraordinary. And I will start to show you exactly what we found. Of course, this is criminal to say the least. So in conclusion, let's jump in. Yesterday I received a mail around 4 o'clock, 3 something in the morning, with a reminder to sign a document for Kronman Reumert. This document was entitled AFIC Links Aftale. Okay. Basically, is the document that was the basis of our settlement agreement with Danske Bank. Settlement agreement that was broken by Danske in the way that we have explained earlier. So they have broken the deal by going into court and voting for the bankruptcy, although the deal stated clearly that they should not be part of the bankruptcy proceedings. We have paid in good faith to them roughly 600,000 euros from Romanian bank accounts, to them meaning to Kronman Reumert. And I found out yesterday that the contract was fake, so the contract was never fully signed, fully committed. So we were paying basically on goodwill, and on goodwill our money has been stolen and we will have been sent to bankruptcy, completely illegal, as you know already from the court procedures from the High Court that annulled the bankruptcy due to legality of the court summons. So let's start with this. I will share my screen right now because I think it's very important that we go into live discussions on the topic. So we have here right now one copy of the contract that was used by this company here on top right. You can see it's Shape Robotics, Danske Bank, Denmark Exports Credit, EIFO, Kronman Reumert, and Theis, whatever. So the background of this contract was clear, so we make a settlement agreement in which they would withdraw, Danske Bank and EIFO would withdraw their claim based on an initial payment no earlier than 28th of November 2025. Okay? This is the payment that everybody is aware of because it was done, it was cashed in, and it was reverted, as you all know, by Kronman Reumert in... you can see right now it's zoomed in as maximum as possible. Please let me know if there is any problem. I think it's maximum zoom in. Yeah, it should be okay. So I think that the biggest point to discuss right now is the following. We need to understand something extremely important, something that a lot of people don't want to understand, that law is not about what you feel it's correct or what you consider to be correct. Law is about procedure. Therefore, we are not in Kafka from that perspective. We are in Kafka because we do not follow procedures. So the procedure is very simple. When you go to this kind of file and you have a digital signature, you can look here, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signatures. Okay? This is a digitally signed document. It's called a digital signature ceremony. Okay? So that means that a group of people decide to sign digitally a document. Okay? This procedure is done either through a portal like Namirial or DocuSign or PandaSign or whatever you see fit Adobe. Yeah, it is very important to have what is called the qualified signature. For my Danish colleagues here, my Danish followers, Meet ID is one of the procedures that is being used in validating your identity. For other European followers, we are talking about certified qualified signature through a certified qualified provider. What is very important is that you can see here, this is my signature, and you can check. It says signature is valid, and I have a certificate proving that this signature is valid. You can see here in Adobe, if you look, this document will be provided and will be available for everybody to look. It cannot be hindered. It doesn't have any sort of, let's say, possibility to be hacked. Okay. So we're looking here on this panel on the right. It says the signatures that are qualified to sign such a document, and you can see here clearly, I hope, there is only one signature qualified on this document. The rest of the signatures here are basically just names, okay? Completely irrelevant. So the signing ceremony of this document that has been used in court to obtain a bankruptcy ruling against Shape Robotics is fake. Okay, so no discussion. This document doesn't exist. This document has never been signed, and the trustee holds right now 3.7 million crowns based on this document without any sort of legal standing. And how can I prove it even further? This is the document I received yesterday or today morning, okay? It's a document with a DocuSign envelope. I will start sharing the screen now for that. As you can see, surprise is the same document, okay? With a DocuSign envelope. This is the digital envelope here. I hope everybody can see it, okay? But again, the document will be available for all parties to see. Yeah, Luis. I don't know. We'll get to the point. Let me focus on the most important aspect on the matter. So this document is the same document that we discussed earlier that was signed only by me. This time we are talking about quite a proper signing ceremony. A signing ceremony that functions on DocuSign support right now, and that you can see here the same people I will sit on it. Doesn't have my signature, of course, so it's not closed. And if you can look here, these are certificates of completion, so very similar to the certified signature, the qualified certified signature that I showed you. And you can see the record tracking of this document, okay? The document was originated on the 28th of November by poor guy Albert Mungo Madsen, a young lawyer at Kronman, and has been signed thoroughly by Anderei Handfern, okay, which used as a type of identification Meet ID, you can see here. Yeah, so properly signed. Was signed by Henrik Monfeld, secure level email authentication with Meet ID, properly signed. Was signed by Christian Anning, okay, credit specialist AE4 with Meet ID, okay, without Meet ID, so wrongfully signed on mobile, signed using on mobile without identification, okay, so incomplete. It was signed by Christian Lineman with Meet ID, so correct. And on 13th of March 2026 at 1 o'clock in the morning, I have officially refused to sign this document. Okay? So right now, the signing ceremony for a contract that bankrupted the company was wrongfully executed. But more interesting in that regard is the following. We go here, and let's look at something very important. The carbon copy event. Carbon copy event is part of a template which sends the document to a third party that will revise it or receive it as a carbon copy. Okay? This carbon copy is sent to a person called Thijs Gulitz Wormslev, curator at Kroman Reumert, the curator of Shape Robotics, 39 days before he became officially curator of Shape Robotics. I would have said this is a mistake at the moment of 28th of November, but today I know it was a plan. So Danske and Kroman Reumert have officially committed fraud. There is no discussion about this. We have engaged the great lawyers like in Kafka, not from Denmark, of course, because everybody has a conflict of interest. This doesn't work at this level anymore. And now this is the missing link that proves everything that we have said for months. All the assets destroyed, zero accountability, and yeah, we're in the situation that basically we don't even have a company to run right now. So we don't receive one piece of evidence, of paper, of nothing from Kroman Reumert. So this is what they're hiding. This is what they're hiding. They hide communication with Danske Bank. They hide communication with creditors. They hide communication that could save the company. And they are burying the company to the ground. This was the plan from the beginning. Let's say, disclosure to the market about the wrongdoings of Carnegie and AIFO most likely was too much for them to swallow. We touched very sensitive topics, and that's why they wanted to bury very fast Shape. Unfortunately for them, we are fighters and we know the law. Therefore, we are in this situation in which we hold all the cards, and yeah, we just look at how they play. But don't worry, everything has been shared to the authorities, everything has been shared to NASDAQ, and I have made a very comprehensive company announcement today. This company announcement I will connect right now, and I think this will easily explain to everybody that is interested in the situation at Shape exactly what is going on, exactly what is the status of our company right now. So I will share the screen. I hope everybody can see it. NASDAQ published around 2:30 Danish time I don't know, company announcement, let's call it like that, that said that our shares are not tradable at this moment because we have multiple bankruptcy petitions confirmed by the Maritime Court. NASDAQ has to understand something. A petition for a bankruptcy court has to be served in a proper manner. A petition that was not served in a proper manner took this company into bankruptcy completely illegal, and this is the final decision of the High Court. We are looking at a scenario where people don't seem to understand, experts don't seem to understand the rule of law. You cannot ask me about, or our company at this moment, about petition and filed petitions without proper serving. We have instructed the Danish court, the maritime court, about exactly how they are supposed to serve us in the condition that we don't have papers, we don't have any office in Denmark, we have absolutely nothing. So we provided them with proper channel of communication. In the second, we will receive through proper channel the serving for any petition that might be or not in play in the bankruptcy court. We shall disclose it to the market accordingly. It's very important. So right now, the fact that NASDAQ says that there is a petition in the High Court, this is pure speculation. NASDAQ has no quality to check petitions that are not properly served and consider them as regulatory information. Thousands of companies publicly listed in Denmark receive petitions for bankruptcy every day. It's irrelevant. This is not a motive to not trade the company. So look, here, it is very clear. You can see this is a company announcement. We are claiming with proof, not nonsense in the typical style of the last 59 days plus 10 more, 8 more. The company that I represent has no office, no access to any systems, no legal address in Denmark. It's just one employee, who's me, that basically functions as the legal CEO of the company, but not the de facto CEO. The de facto CEO is the trustee, Kronman, Roymert representative, Thies, or whatever is his name. Yeah. So the trustee has become the CEO till the moment he discharges of his duties and sends us the paper. This is not how we feel or what we consider. This is the law. Okay? So we work with the law. Exactly, that's how we won in court, not by feelings. Okay? We took some proactive measures. So today we ordered through the bailiff service of the Maritime High Court to notify Kronman Roymert to immediately release funds that they will hold unlawfully, and of course all the assets and documents of the company. We have informed the authorities that Finanstil, Sinet, and of course NASDAQ and everybody that is involved, that the trustee has written down in a couple of days all the value of the company. And the most important aspect, we have informed about the market abuse regulations that the trustee has done. And I will explain very simple. A trustee has functioned during the first day he becomes trustee. And very important to understand, there are two phases of a process like this one. You have of court dates. You have a first date where you have the maritime court, where they declare the bankruptcy, and then you have a trustee, and then you have the second phase of the trial, where you have the high court. During these two phases, of course, you can act and do whatever you want as a trustee, but the advice that you receive is to tread carefully till the moment the appeal has been 100% finalized. Theis knew very well that there is an appeal, but he simply didn't believe in us, what we will do and what is our capacity. Unfortunately for him, he started taking decisions that affected the assets of the company without having a judgment on the appeal. And that's why we are here. And that's why everybody asked the question why he doesn't give us the paper. Simple, because we will basically make sure that he will never be a lawyer again. So I guarantee you that this fellow will never set foot in a court in his life in a very short period of time. Okay? And this is not a threat, this is just a conclusion of what happened and how illegal is the whole process. And very important to understand, even in bankruptcy, Shape Robotics was a publicly traded company. So the market abuse regulation still follow this company. We have been notified couple of days ago by Nasdaq exactly on this topic. Therefore, the trustee had the same obligation like everybody to inform its creditors. This is normal practice on Nasdaq Nordic. I will just show you 5 cases that we have documented. Okay, Odico AS, Seluxit AS, Audientes AS, Spark Technology AS, Leeds AB, all bankruptcies, all following market abuse regulation with regular market alerts and news. Creditors are a part of the story. Shareholders have to be informed exactly like in a normal company about their investment. So what happened in the 59 days is something that we need to solve together. This is beyond anyone's imagination. Okay? So I hope that I have informed you very clearly. Okay? So now let's go into the chat and start looking at some of the questions. Thank you again for spending time here with me. Okay, let's go and take it from the top. Louise, hello. So you say yesterday you said that A4 credit termination was fully disclosed to the market. I have searched in vain for information about when it was disclosed. I cannot find information about the termination before the beginning of December 25, when the news of SR having entered into agreement with DB and A4. Yeah, that's the day of the termination, correct. Cosmin, can they contest this somehow? You mean us? Yes, of course we can contest. I like to speak we, but it's mostly me. Yeah, we can contest, yes. We did. Do you have any proof regarding this alleged situation? As I said yesterday, you might be connecting some doubts, but you lack clear evidence. That's my opinion. What do you mean? I just showed you the proof. Luis, it is normal in Danish bankruptcy law that the creditor nominates a creditor-friendly trustee who the court often approves as trustee in a bankruptcy case. The trustee must, among other things, protect the company asset and the company's creditors, and ensure that the creditors have their losses limited. The trustee's primary task is not to protect the company's former management. Correct. As I said yesterday, Luis, and that's what I just shown, he didn't do that. And I think that it is quite amazing that in this country you have these kind of things, you know, a creditor-friendly trustee that basically you trust that will represent your interest as another creditor that is not creditor-friendly, and then you just have to trust that the trustee is doing the right job. So it's, yeah, this is the case where we are right now. This trustee only worked in favor of Danske, the friendly creditor. So that's why in 26 countries out of 27 in Europe, it's illegal. You don't have the same lawyer of one company becoming the trustee in the company that he's executing. These are heavy statements from your side, Mark. Beware. Why? Beware of what? Mark, how is there are no physical assets you are missing from the trustee? Where is the company's inventory, for example? You write that the trustee has control of all the company's assets. Correct. Yes, that's correct. You have to ask him. I have nothing. I have not received anything. So, yeah, this is where we are. So, Luis, if you try maybe to ask the question in a format that is a little bit easier for me to understand what you want me to explain, because these are self-explanatory questions. Let me check in the meantime if I have anything on LinkedIn, just to see some of the questions there. We are waiting for questions from Louise or others. Bo, you used to have you had a question earlier for me regarding some. I don't remember. You asked me on the WhatsApp something regarding I think the court rulings or something in that direction. Can you please ask the question here also? Today you did not ask for the inventory. Meaning, how, when did I not ask? Does the missing digital signature truly make the document void? Yeah, if the document that has no signature is void. You can check with any, not AI, any browser. Marcel, I saw progressions post on Nordnet. I want to ask the same thing. What do you want to ask? Let's wait for the questions to come. I can look at the. I didn't check Nordnet. I can look at Nordnet if you want and see what he has said. Yeah, something like that. Handling a petition or time frame or yeah, I don't remember. Let's look at the questions from. I don't know, Cosmin. Probably yes. The question is who is going to pay for this. Yeah, let's share the screen with this Nordnet page, and yeah, let's see what they are talking about here. Just out of curiosity, if the company gets back up and running, is there a new board and CEO, and who will decide? Shareholders elect the progression. This one, shareholders elect the board of directors by a vote at the general meeting, and is the board of director who hires the CEO. After, yeah, I don't know. I think he's quoting. He's saying the correct thing here. Progression. Nasdaq maintains the suspension of the stock with the explanation that the court continues to deal with the bankruptcy application. Okay, this we answered. Okay. I'm not pushy at all. I'm just trying to understand what you're asking. Okay, let's take it from Bo's question. What is the question regarding the time frame for handling a petition? I don't know. At this moment, the petition has to be legally served. We have informed the court about our whereabouts and how we should be served, because you can imagine that I have to tread very carefully as I don't have fluency in Danish. Therefore, all petitions and everything that I received according to the EU regulations have to be translated and submitted to my house address, to the embassy of the Ministry of Interior, of Exterior, sorry. So I think it will take 60 to 90 days to get properly served at the moment. Luis, you asked the trustee today to hand over docs, but you didn't ask to have the inventory. I asked for all the assets. That's including the inventory. Can you probably sue this lawyer? I asked. All the company assets remain in the position of the former trustee. Yes, at this moment he has all the assets. That means invoices, goods, everything, the passive and the active. You are a bit pushy, I just answer, but you don't ask for the inventory. It's there. It's in the asset list. So the inventory is in the asset list. What do you agree with progression, Luis? He's saying here that the company's warehouse, which was booked at 8 million of the liquidator, is written down to 0. That's the problem with the liquidator. He wrote it to 0. Mark does not require the warehouse to be handed over. Why won't Mark want to demand the inventory handed over if it's under previous create? This is what you mean. But I did assets include inventory. That's basic accounting. Guys, let's not be negative when we try to be the lawyer's advocate here. The inventory is part of the assets. I said clearly, all company assets remain in the possession of the former trustee. Okay, progression. Yeah, there is in the post of 73 kroner. I wonder if it's the coffee box that the curator took hand mortgages in. This is a translation, it's hard for me. I think he is talking about the curator finding 73 crowns somewhere. It beats me. Why do you believe he found only that? Why do you believe anything he's saying, taking in consideration the facts that we have just proven? And if it's like that, why doesn't he share? What is so difficult to make all this information, to give all these assets to the company? Why? And I will tell you why, because he's expecting a new bankruptcy to be served, and in that bankruptcy to be again the curator. So in his mind, his only chance to survive this is to become again trustee or have a friendly trustee again in the company that goes bankrupt. Nimbo Chromis. It is a unique situation that has arisen around Shape Robotics as annulment of a bankruptcy that has been in force for 2 months is certainly not commonplace in the Danish legal system. Yeah, it's the only situation. Therefore, for a publicly listed company. Therefore, the curator may well be confused with what is required of him in this situation. So that's an excuse that he's confused, or it's a poor curator, okay? There is nothing to be confused about. It's very simple. Unicredit. It's very simple. Bo was asking, yeah, I will go back to that. It is very simple to look at this in the following way. So let's say that you have a curator that is handling an estate of a bankrupt company for 59 days. And the court decides after 59 days to replace the curator with another curator. In Denmark, there is a very clear distinction between lawyer and curator, and the distinction, they have a guide of good practices, which is available online. You can check what are the obligations of curators. And one of the most important obligation is to pass the assets of the company, where you find all the definition of the assets and what they have to do. So when a curator is replaced by another curator, there is a process of handover. We are requiring the same process. I'm exactly a new curator for the company, but it's named CEO, so he has to fulfill obligations in that direction. Okay? So can you elaborate on the value of the warehouse? Why do you have 8 million in the warehouse, considering you did not have any ongoing contract? Financial ways, it does not make sense for me keeping value stuck in inventory when you were illiquid. We had a very big contract with Bechtle, for which we have also received the credit in Finland, for which we have also started acquiring components that are and most likely still in the same warehouse where we left them, but the problem is that we don't have access to that warehouse without proper handover from the curator. The biggest creditor can typically have an influence on selecting the trustee. I think the battle is not to select a new trustee or who will select a new trustee. My opinion right now, the situation is beyond any kind of regular bankruptcy proceedings. So we have a conflict of interest that is clear. We have a list of creditors that are basically more or less unfriendly to each other, so they will not cooperate. And at this moment, you have a company that is operating on pure goodwill. That's it. So this is the real situation where we are right now. Let's switch back to see if there are any other comments. No, I think not from the Nordnet. So go ahead and ask me if I need to clarify other aspects. I think, Marcel, you asked me something about earlier I missed it, about the company announcement today. It was something regarding the MAR. Or I was dreaming. The warehouse was in Bulgaria and in Romania, Marcel. Both, so we are kind of stuck in this situation. I think it's good to the situation right now has to be stuck, because right now we are in an advantage as till the moment we receive full documentation, we are not liable and we don't have to take decisions that are not in favor or of our shareholders or creditors. So imagine the level of... I ask you a simple question, Bo. You knew about the AGM, the EGM, correct? All of you knew about that. Did you know that it was cancelled by the trustee? That's a very simple question. Do you, as shareholder, as an important shareholder, Bo, did you know officially on channel of communication that are dedicated for investors that the EGM has been cancelled? Exactly. Exactly. So how is this not market abuse regulation infringement 100%? Yeah. How can a shareholder needs to receive this information for a publicly listed company? There is no info that the EGM was cancelled, no info that the Sanaco went bankrupt, nothing. These are assets, your assets, shareholders. These are shareholder assets. You had no idea about your assets. Luis, do you have any relationship? Because I will answer to you, Luis, immediately. Is there anything in the law that tells us for how long can the trustee hold the documents? I think the trustee should release... Okay, let's take it like that. The trustee cannot hold the documents more than reasonable time. Reasonable time means days, okay? Days. But the law is basically right now pushed to the limit of the normal way of a subpoena in Denmark. So I would say that we have 14 days in which Kronmar has to make a position because they don't answer to our request. So in 14 days, we should at least see the reasons why they refuse to give us the documents officially. So that's the moment when we can sue. The biggest hope of Kronman and the team there is that in those 14 days, we have become bankrupt again. And that's why it's very good for us, Bo, to be in the situation that we are right now, in which in the end, we have to have time. We need time to settle the company back into position. We need time. And time can be only, let's say, gained through following very strict legal procedures now. So going back to, do you have any personal relation to Passat, who claimed, yes, I have, and everybody knows that. Can you as CEO negotiate with the creditor to whom you may have a personal relation? There is no negotiations here. What are the negotiations? Those claims are based on documents. So what should I negotiate right now when I don't have the documents? We have to have a separation. Me as a CEO, it's not the same. I represent a position and I have a function in the company. Me as a person in my family life, I'm a different human being than the CEO of the company. The CEO of the company has obligations towards the company and the shareholders, not towards members of its family. Therefore, in this respect, me as CEO can negotiate any claim or any, let's say, cash position right now that is open, as long as I have documents that support my negotiation. Without those documents, to do what? So all the claims in the dashboard that I shared with you are undocumented to me. I just have the absolute number. That's it. I don't have anything else. What else? Did you remember, Marcel, what was the question? Or I should scroll up? Or I didn't miss it, I dreamed it. I think it's clear right now with... yeah, of course, I have to be very transparent in a situation like this one. We need an EGM also. We need a fresh EGM. We need to give power back to the shareholders. But in order to do that EGM, we need documents. Again, we need to reestablish a relationship. We need to inform the bank. We are using now a license of a software that communicates to the market that I paid out of my own pocket. Okay. You could ask Passat for copy of the documents. I could ask Passat in which quality? What is the quality that I should ask her for these documents? As a domestic partner, you're asking me, or what? Tell me, what is your opinion? Or what are you trying to get as an answer here, Luis? One more thing that I guess it's extremely important to also add to the table is you have to understand a little bit this uncertainty of the court ruling. There is a part in the High Court ruling that is very clear. The way you serve a company and you summon it to court, especially in these high speed procedures that take only 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, that are very typical to Danish market, is very strict. The other part is there is no procedure to return the company to its former state. So there is a question here whether these claims are true or not, are correct or not, because a lot of the claims have derived from the bankruptcy itself. Let me explain to you why the claims have derived from bankruptcy itself, and I will talk about UniCredit claim. For instance, UniCredit was a creditor for Shape Robotics Romania, but had a collateral, a corporate guarantee received from Shape Robotics Denmark, that in case the Shape Robotics Denmark defaults, also the facilities in the subsidiary are getting defaulted. So that's why you see that UniCredit has become one of the largest creditors on the estate because of the default of Shape Robotics Denmark, of the bankruptcy in Denmark. So theoretically, But again, we are talking without documents. We need to see how Unicredit has summoned the Shape in court or whatever they have done to get into the list of claims. What is the fair question? I don't understand. This is not about fair or not fair, and I'm not answering with a laugh. I'm just asking you directly because we are working with things that are very uncertain, and we try to bring some certainty into the process. So again, please ask me questions in a format that I'm able to answer, because otherwise you would say that I'm not reasonable or I'm being pushy. Ignorance or arrogance? What do you mean? Good. I replied to Cosmin, I think, for the hold on the documents. Let's check if it's anything else. I think he thinks these questions are foolish. No, I don't. Come on. I don't believe these questions are foolish, but it's important to say that the questions cannot be unprecise and just hinting at something like, I don't know, how is that so relevant if Passat has a claim? It's a little bit finance style, I would say. No, it's not like I answer with no answer. Ask me a question and I will answer with a question. And please, when you ask a question, make sure it has a relevance to our case in the format that we can utilize in this conversation. And I apologize if you feel that this is arrogance, but this is very specific and we have to be very specific. It's not about how we feel. So, Luis, what are the questions that you want me to answer? And what are the questions, Marcel? Because I need to understand what you want to hear from me in the sense. Mark, you may be right here regarding the questions, but you understand what we asked. The form may not be complete as this is a chat, not an email. Okay. With respect to AFO's credit termination, it said it has been announced for 2 years, and now I have searched the company announcement since 2004, and the first time I find information about the termination is at the beginning of December 25, when you suddenly state that Shape Robotics has entered into a settlement agreement. Can you show when you, as CEO, first informed the market about the termination, if it's already known in 24, as you say? We have informed the market when it was made clear for us that the termination took place, and that is in December 25. Internally, the company knew about discussions between AIFO and Danske Bank about the maturity of the collateral somewhere in 24, mid-24. But these are not relevant information for the market. So the relevant information was the moment that AIFO decided to pull the plug. We cannot discuss about material information as long as we don't have clear material information. Suddenly state, okay, what are you asking, Marcel? But you did not warn the investors about the possibility of AFO termination. We cannot lead the investors with misinformation. It's impossible to inform the market under MAR regulations about things that didn't happen. I'm not allowed to inform the market. It's not only TASE is allowed to not inform the market. I'm not allowed. So just to be clear for everybody, in the life of a publicly listed company, there are tons of discussions that are not meant for public eyes and ears, okay? So we cannot share every feeling, every emotion, every negotiation, every upset R&D genius that is leaving if we don't pay him a salary, and so on and so forth. It could have been beneficial for the shareholders. Many things could have been beneficial for the shareholders. For instance, to disclose the fact that the company was the victim of a pump and dump. So at this point, it was just internal gossip. Internal gossip, not facts. So at the point, it was just internal gossip. It's not internal gossip. It's not factual. I'm trying to. Okay. Life in a company doesn't work again on feelings and gossip and however you want to call it, Cosmin. If there is a paper signed like the contract that I showed you, then this is something we disclosed. Okay? If that contract is not signed like I showed you, we should have not disclosed it. It was a mistake to disclose even that agreement on the 25th. So if I knew at that time that the contract was not properly signed, I would have not disclosed you even then. Still not allowed though, so impossible for it to happen. Hi Peter, I don't understand what you mean. Still not allowed, so impossible for it to happen. MAR definition allows such important information for be shared in the market. No, it does not allow, Luis. It does not allow. Important information, it's not a concept, it's called material information. So information has to become material. But the P&D pump and dump, I think was in March 24. You announced in late 25, more than a year, and you knew. Yeah, I explained quite thoroughly the reason why the pump and dump was not properly communicated to the market. Such events fall under the obligation of the board, of the disclosure of the board of directors. Can you show me, Luis, what you mean when you say it? Yes, it does. I need to see the article that you are showing. I can tell you for sure that is not the case, but we can look at the article just for the sake of the discussion. So coming back to what I was saying to Marcel, we have found out about this through a proper channel of investigation. I ordered an investigation internally for the sake of let's say good governance. I can share that investigation at a certain point in the future. But what I'm saying is that during the investigation, we found out late September exactly about the pump and dump scheme and how it worked. I've notified the board that this investigation was finalized and asked them to take a decision, because this was information to be shared by the representative of the shareholders, who are the board members, and they have refused to share this information. And they decided to take a different route and to bury basically the information. So the idea is that I was basically blocked by the board to share this for the single purpose, most likely, that they knew that we will be torn apart by Carnegie and the machine, and the board members didn't want to be part of such an endeavor. So it is Danish market rules. So they wanted to bury them with gentleness and not fight the pump and dump. So the market crashed in December 25. Showed the information was not material. Sure, it was not material. The market didn't crash in 25 because of A4. It crashed because of finance. What should I share now? What should I share, Marcel, now? What do you want me to share? You wonder why the auditor left? Yeah, I can share the internal investigation on my page later on. I can share that to you. It's also quite well documented on my pump and dump articles, and I can share that also with you. You require at least 2-3 hours to read it properly so you can understand the context. Something happened in the start of December or late November. Finance happened, yes. Why not now? There is no reason to share a document for 3 hours that I cannot explain. I can put it in the chat and you can read it, and then we can discuss it on Monday. I think it's much more helpful for everybody to have time to disseminate if you didn't have time to read all the information that I have made public already. But I think and I advise you to read the channel, as this is extremely important information. So Louise is asking me something happened in the start December or late November. Yes, we disclosed the pump and dump on the 27th, and this is when the share price corrected itself. Then immediately after that, we were attacked in the media because of my past 10 years ago. Bo, did you manage today to speak to the journalists on the curious case of Shape Robotics Denmark? If we wait for that moment, let's go and you want Marcel to explain the pump and dump again for everybody to understand? We can do that if you want. Just let me know. I'm here to answer as long as I can. Let's check in the meantime also the LinkedIn to see if I have any questions here. The internal investigation that I claim to have, I will put it on my channel, you will have it. It's not claim, it's proof. Good. Any other questions regarding the situation today? Let's try to focus on today's events, and I think that a lot of people are still curious about the messages and the announcement and the company announcement and questions from that company announcement. So I'll wait for you to let me know. Okay, so if there are no other questions on the topic today, and I feel that people are waiting for their weekend, then I will just document to everything with what you have asked me to document, and I'll try to update you over the weekend if anything pops up from the legal team. It's helpful for me to see how you react to questions from investors. It's very important to understand something that for me it was very difficult from the moment I knew about the pump and dump to go and discuss with investors. And the reason being that I felt that all discussions that I can engage investors in and try to present a situation was based on a lie that I knew about. And if you ask me, Luis, about sharing A4 is less relevant than the pump and dump. The A4 is nothing. The worst scenario was to share, not being able to share material information about insider trading in a company, which basically ruined the company. And this was a board decision, and I can't go over their head for that. So it took a while to get to a point to have a board member, which was Andre, that was the chairman, together with Aurel, that agreed with me in the end that this has to be completely disclosed, which were new board members that came in late 25. Good. So I wish you a very good and pleasant weekend. I hope to not have too much to do over the weekend, not to find any news, but let's see how it evolves, and everything will be transparent, everything will be available for you, for here to watch live, to ask questions, to see it in your own time. I will post this as usual immediately after the streaming ends. I still do not completely think finance documented the facts extensively for nothing. Still do not completely think finance documented these facts for nothing. Just a thought for you. Yeah, they documented those facts for a lot of things, not for nothing. They documented those facts for in order to protect the establishment. They were not relevant facts. Those facts had nothing to do with Shape. So imagine that a company like Shape Robotics that, I don't know, for the last 7 years had zero coverage in finance, zero. So there were no articles. Suddenly has 20 days of 20 consecutive articles in a 2-month period of time, all about me and my past and things that happened 18 years. So most likely they knew that something that I was saying was right, and they tried to cancel me in the sense of trust, because Denmark is a trust system, and by canceling me and transforming me into a persona non grata, they actually thought they can protect themselves. I don't know exactly. I think Bo, who is one of the brave ones, brave investors that stood by me, and I appreciate his effort on that, might better explain exactly how the situation is. And if he's still here, maybe he can write on the chat. It was something related to a crash with the IT factory, or something Steinbegger, something like that. So, Luis, show us the document where the board decided to keep it hidden regarding A4 resigning. There was no board document to keep it hidden. A4 resigning was not hidden by the board. No, there was nothing regarding. I said that the decision not to disclose and make a um, an official inquiry on the topic of the pump and dump was not disclosed by the board. That is the document that was material and hidden. The document for the board decision plus the internal investigation. The document for the board decision, I have to discuss whether it is possible to disclose such things, in the sense that we have already claimed the insurance against the board. So we have officially communicated to the board that we are claiming damages in amount of, I don't know, the lost value right now is still not calculated, but most likely will be north of 40 million crowns. And the procedure has already been started, and we have informed the insurer about this procedure. We have made all the necessary steps, and it will be part of the future EGM, should we have the chance to do it, to notify publicly the shareholders, and I'll ask them to vote on the claims against the board. That's the procedure. We have to have support from the EGM to vote for a claim against the board. +1, Luis. What is that? +1 question. The claim is 40 million. 40 million. You're asking me what happened, Luis, or I think what happened is that you got disconnected. Okay. Good. Any more questions? Or we call it a day? If there's no more chat, I wish you all a good evening, great weekend, be healthy, be smart, and let's enjoy the nice Friday the 13th end of the day. Have a very good weekend. Bye guys. Ciao.